Hey guys, and welcome to Geek Reviews. This week's Geek Reviews is on, well, this is the weekly Geek Reviews of the White Dwarf, and what we have is a very lovely review of the model, the new rules set that's in here, as well as some nice extra little bits that GW have put in. So I'm just going to go through the book and, do my normal thing and then do a rules review at the end of it. So what we do, we have Thanquol, I think that's how you pronounce him, and Boneripper, with goes through a bit in their background, some nice full colour pictures of them both. Pardon me. Then starts going through the Thanquol End Times book, which looks quite fun, especially since I've started playing Skaven, and it's starting to release or unveil the Horned Rat's plan for the world, the great scheme, as it were. So, what's new this week? We have the new limited edition release of the Thanquol End Times book. We also have the End Times digital edition of that same book. We have some Skaven dice, so you lucky people who managed to get some before the actual website crashed, you were lucky. I tried, I spammed the website as well, but I couldn't actually get it done. So I really want some, so I'm going to try and get some as well on Saturday when they're released. There was another new End Times book there called Rise of the Horned Rat, which is meant to sound quite interesting from what I've heard. Then we've got some going through. They've actually given us a full timeline of all the events in the End Times, like what's happened and like people who are dying and stuff like that. So it's a nice, interesting read. So if you want to know what's happened in the other books and you haven't got them yet, you can kind of find out what's gone on. Then we have a nice glues and sprues section, which tells you good ways to actually how to build all your miniatures. So like building them up in sections instead of building them all together and then having to like try and fiddly paint them later on. It's got some nice things to like help you do it in like sections, like so you don't have to like try and get in all the fiddly places. You like don't build them all in one. Like you spray them up and you super glue them, the last little bits together. It's also got some nice bits on telling you how to using large resin kits from Forge World, like telling you how to clean them up, like from getting rid of all the residue on them, reheating them so you can like, kind of rebend them and shape them, and then also like going through and scraping them down and getting all rid of the extra sprue bits on there, which is quite nice. And then they have a great paint spatter, like a huge, great step-by-step guide that you could use on the new Bonebreaker and Thanquol. But like the hints and tips that they use in here will also be great for going through and actually doing other Skaven units in like the Hellpit Abominations, because they're great for skin and fur and the metals and the bandages and stuff like that on the pipeworks. It's great things that you can use for other Skaven models. So this is going to be a great paint starter for me for when I eventually get around to painting up my Skaven army, especially with the Warpstone, because I'm going to try and do lots of Warpstone-y stuff, because I quite like the idea of a Warpstone-based army. So I'm kind of going like can't remember which clan it is, but the very engineering based clan. And then we have the rules review of him. It does seem quite powerful. He's quite fun by the looks of things. So I'm going to go through him. So rules for Thanquol and Boneripper. He is 650 points. So he's quite an expensive model. So he's basically the same price as the special character Vermin Lord. Okay, his stat line is he is movement 6, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength 6, toughness 5, 8 wounds, initiative 5, and 6 attacks, and leadership 7. He is a troop type monster, special character. Thanquol combined profiles are treated as a single model with a 6+ armor save. So for the purpose of the rules, he has a 6+ armor save, but they're treated as a single model. They are a wizard level 4, and he can take spells from Plague or Ruin, in any combination. And he also can choose to substitute one of his spells for the dreaded 13th spell. So, he's a typical Grey Seer. His equipment and options are he can take water fire projectors, or he may replace them with water fire braziers for no extra cost. So you can freely swap between them. So if you're very good at magnetizing or pinning the model, or just doing straight swaps, this would be a great thing for you. So you can swap and change them out. Otherwise, you could be I don't know. You could be stuck with one model, or you build like half and half, like two arms have the water fire projectors and two arms have the thingies. So you can say, oh, this game is using this game is using that kind of thing. Be as long as you tell your opponent what ones you're using, it's not going to be thingies. Like as long as it's noted down in the army list, I wouldn't see an issue with it myself. His special rules are large target, terror, and unbreakable. Blessing of the Horned Rat. So he has a 4+ ward save. If he's equipped with the warp fire projectors, he can make 2 warp fire projector attacks in the shooting phase. Resolve one of these at a time, and they can maybe be directed at different targets if they wish to. And he can also re-roll fail 2 wound rolls with these attacks. Sorry about that. Thanquol also doesn't. He also has Warpstone addiction. Thanquol doesn't suffer a wound as a result from Warpstone generated power dice, i.e. form his Warpstone tokens. On a roll of a 1, so he basically he can use these as many, up to how many either he has, and then he gets he gets basically additional Warpstone die, warp charge, not warp charge. That's 40k power dice in each. Throughout the game, if he wants to, he can generate them. Because he gets d6 plus 2 warp tokens at the start of the battle. So these are essentially power dice you can keep and you can use whenever you want. So essentially, you can have 12 power dice, use them all down to 1, and then go, right, I'm going to use 3 of my power dice, 3 of my Warpstone dice as well. And there you go, have another big spell go off. His magical items are Staff of the Horned Rat, which is an arcane item that gives the bearer +1 to any casting results, and for casting any spells from Plague or Ruin. So it's a great thing for trying to get additional things off. So it's essentially a wizard level 5 with that. So that's quite fun. Warpstone Amulet is a talisman on a roll of a d6 at the start of each controller's playing turn. On a 5, he receives 1 wound lost in the previous battle. So basically, it will not die. So he can essentially regenerate his wounds. So that's quite fun. As I said before, he has also Warpstone tokens, which he has d6 plus 2 at the start of the battle. So you can't generate any more after that, but if you get really lucky, you have essentially 8 extra warp dice there, extra power dice there you can use. Sorry, I've got a pretty bad throat today. The 2 equipment options he has are the Warp Fire Braziers and Warp Fire Projectors. The Warp Fire Braziers are a close combat weapon with Strength +1, Flaming Attacks, Multiple Wounds D3, Storm of Attacks, and Warp Fumes and Warpstone weapons. Storm of Attacks in a model which in a model equipped with Warp Fire Braziers can reroll failed wounds in close combat phase, including impact hits and stomps. However, it may never benefit from the extra attack special rule for having more than 1 close combat weapon. Warpstone fumes at the beginning of any round of close combat in which a model which is equipped with these is in combat. All models, friend or foe, in base contact with this model must pass a toughness test or have a single wound with no armor saves allowed, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of thin the ranks down, especially if the elves, they'll be slowly whittling them down, kind of thing. Because you're probably gonna have at least 6 in base contact with him. So they're toughness 3. So on average, you're probably gonna kill 3 of them a turn, as long as they've got no ward save. And then Warpstone weapon is if they count as being magical weapons, which is pretty cool. So if you'd go with the Braziers if you want like a close combat mage and you want him to get into the thick of it. I personally would go for the projectors myself because I would more like to have him at the back-ish, like setting fire to things, which I think would be cool, and like throwing out spells. Because they're strength 5, they're a flamethrower weapon, so they adhere to the rules from Warhammer Fantasy for those. Flaming attacks, of course, they are D3 multiple wounds. It's a move or fire weapon, but he is quick to fire, so he can like stand and shoot with them. But then he's got 2 of them, so he can stand and shoot twice with them, which is quite funny. Wildly off target and warpstone weapons are the other rules. Warpstone weapons again is a magical weapon. Wildly off target. Do not roll on the black powder misfire chart, which where misfire chart fire projectors misfires. Instead, roll a d6 automatic hits on the closest friendly unit that is in the front arc that's within 12. And if there's no eligible units, they just simply don't fire this turn, which is pretty cool. But basically, if you misfire, instead of rolling on the old misfire chart that's in the Skaven book for the warp fire projectors, you roll d6, and that's how many automatic hits get hit on the hit on any friendly units. So you'd be essentially burning your own guys. Then what else is in here? Well, that's basically all his rules. I think he's pretty cool. You know, I'll probably be getting one myself at some point whenever I get the money to get him. Because I'm still humming and hawing on a Vermin Lord or him, so I'm not sure which. But I also know there's potentially some stuff coming out next week, which is hinted at the end of this White Dwarf, which is the Clan Moulder's latest creations, and I think I mentioned in one of the previous videos where I saw glimpses of armoured rat ogres, which are like awesome, because I like the rat ogres things, I like the Clan Moulder stuff. That's gonna kind of be my theme / Moulder / engineering, like warpstone engineering. So that's gonna be my theme for my army. So I quite like the looks of these rat ogres, so I'm probably going to be definitely getting those when they come up for pre-order next week. There's also some Hall of Fame and Building Thanquol's Uprising, which is basically like a step-by-step guide, maybe of how to build him, or what's actually happening in the book. But yeah, there's some other nice, extra little bits in the back of here, a bit more like information about him. But yeah, all in all, I do quite like this week's White Dwarf. It's going to be quite fun to actually get the model, maybe. I'm not sure. As I say, I'm humming and hawing about it. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. Sorry, my throat's a bit croaky today. I'm not feeling too great. But yeah, I'm going to get this uploaded and hope you guys enjoy. So like and comment if you have. Stick around and check out my other videos and subscribe. There will be more like this stuff coming. I've still got to finish off my Exterminatus series of the last bit of Shield of Baal, so stick around for that. But yeah, comment as well if you want me to go over anything again, or speak to me in the comments, or want me to review anything in the future. I'll have a look at it. Cheers, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching, and hope to see you next time.